to have 15 minutes of driving. And driving on the limit, the drivers will need to set as fast as possible to try and start as far out front as possible. Mika Kobosnidze, a driver from Georgia, he took the second place in the year 2019 in Georgian hill climb championship, and he is a Legends racer. Well, all of the drivers that take place in this championship are actually the real drivers that race or have raced legend cars, so they know these very well in real life, but to drive them fast in virtual environment is a little bit different, and well, you need much more practice. It's not enough to have experience in real life, although it helps a lot, of course. But when you're not sitting in your car and you do not feel all the G-forces, but yet the car still has to be driven in the same way that it's driven in real life, that's where things are really getting pretty serious, and not everyone is handling it that good. So therefore we have some clear leaders in this championship, which are Julian Sheen and Anders Antel, together with Pekka Seppänen. These three drivers look astonishing in every race, but all the other drivers are very fast too, so there's always some surprises, and let's hope that this race today will be no exception and we might see a new winner. But we still have to finish the qualifying session, and we will see who is the fastest of them all. And the times are coming. Rory Penttinen sets the fastest lap at the moment with a time of 1 minute 25 and 8, so it's pretty fast from the first try. But he's already pushed out by Pekka Seppänen wide, and to have these small cars racing around this track should give us some pretty nice moments, and I'm hoping to see some 3 or even 4 cars wide at the beginning of the race. Mika Kobosnidze is currently in 4th position, a Georgian driver, and we are used to seeing these Georgian drivers doing a nice and strong performance in qualifying sessions, but somehow well, a lot of the times they run out of luck during races. There are always nice and intense battles going on the track, and so some contacts are not avoidable, and let's hope that these 2 coming races on this wide Estonian racetrack will give plenty of room for all of the drivers try and fight as hard as they can, avoiding all the contacts. Anders Antel betters his lap time. He's still 1/10 behind Julian Sheen, so it's not enough for this driver to start the race, the first race, from pole position, and he will have to retry one more time. And there's still some time left. We are 6 minutes till the end of the qualifying session, so it's still a long way to go. All of them are on and lights are out, and we are racing. Anders Antel manages to make a nice start. He's already side by side with Julian Sheen. Julian Sheen protects the inside line, but Anders Antel has a slight edge over the driver. Will that be enough? They are running side by side with Anders Antel running the outside line, a little longer line, but the next corner is a right-hand corner followed by the left-hand corner. Are they going to make it side by side? It looks like Anders Antel gets out of it a little bit. They're still fighting, and Julian Sheen has the edge. You can see the huge grid running closely together. At the start of the race we have Per Danielsson, I think, going around out of the circuit, sliding on the grass. Either there was a contact or he lost his back end trying to be very fast at the opening corners of the first round. Julian Sheen is protecting his first position because Anders Antel is very competitive. These two drivers are fighting for the lead in the championship, and Anders Antel is currently in first position. So he is not willing to give up that easily, and he is putting a nice and big pressure on the leader of this race. Julian Sheen runs a little bit wide coming out of the final turn. That lets Anders Antel have a little bigger speed at the straight, but it's not enough. We're down into the slowest corner of the track. Anders Antel tries to cross the lines. Julian Sheen still holding the edge over the driver, and he is still out in front. But it looks like that at this stage Anders Antel has much better speed. Maybe his car setup is a little bit more aggressive than the setup of the leader, and he got his tire temperature up a little bit faster. Pekka Seppänen is fighting for position number 3 with Marko Iliaho. Pekka Seppänen is running the inside line on the fastest turn on the track, and he managed to make the move stick. So Pekka Seppänen up into third place, and we have 3 championship leaders running in the first 3 positions. Julian Sheen made a small mistake. Is it going to be enough for Anders Antel to try and make the move? No, and Julian Sheen had a nice lead over his rivals, and the small error did not make him lose his lead at the moment. But Anders Antel is looking very racy, and that's what we are liking to see, with Pekka Seppänen closing the gap between him and the leaders, and he is approaching them really fast. Pekka Seppänen was the fastest of them all the last lap around. One to fix the sounding problem. That's pretty unusual to see a race with the sound of the engines off. I'm not sure if this is something that we should get used to, because the little car home in first position. Filip Miemo is running 5th. He has Nika Kobosnice behind him. The gap is 1 second, so he is not allowed to make any mistakes, and he getting ready. Let's jump to the front. Lights are out and we have a start. Martin Palm makes it very good. He is out in front. He has 3 cars lead over the field. Valteris Viedris coming back strong. We have 2 Georgian drivers attacking the leaders already. Carlson and Data Kajaya up into 3rd place. Carlson dropping down to 4th, but he's still very competitive. Let's see how the 2 leaders of the championship are doing, and it looks like that Julian Sheen made a better start. He outperformed Anders Antel. We have a driver running wide. He runs almost into Julian Sheen, which lets Anders Antel jump out into front, and he's out into 7th place. Julian Sheen in the meanwhile battling with Pekka Seppänen, and Pekka Seppänen is not willing to give up. He started in front of Julian Sheen, and he is now down into battling with the leader of the championship, and Julian Sheen makes it stick while Martin Palm is still in first position, so that's a nice debut for this driver. And Anders Antel is already up into 6th position, while Julian Sheen is stuck behind the slower drivers. Pekka Seppänen battling Julian Sheen at the moment. 2 cars are off the track. This is Julian Sheen and Pekka Seppänen. They were a little bit over aggressive. They did not lose position, so Mawini is running behind Julian Sheen, and the second half of the grid, lower than top 10, are all a little bit further behind. The battles going on out in front. There was some contacts and the drivers lost some time. Filip Miemo is fighting for position number 3. He is up into that place, managing to get past Carlson, who was in 3rd position. So these 2 drivers are battling it very nicely through the first laps of the second race, with Filip Miemo holding a slight edge over his rivals, and that lets Martin Palm and Valteris Viedris built up a nice gap between him and the other drivers who are fighting hard for positions. And we have 3 drivers coming into one of the left-hand corners. That's Seppänen, Kobosnitsa and Sheen, all of them managing to hold on to their places. Pekka Seppänen is still holding a slight edge over Julian Sheen. He's right behind Marko Iljaho, and Filip Miemois is down into 5th place. Anders Antel is up in 4th. Who was that sliding around? That was Pekka Seppänen, and there's still not enough room on this wide circuit located in Estonia. Valteris Viedris was the fastest till Julian Sheen crossed the line. So Julian Sheen, battling other guys, manages to run faster than the whole grid, and this was a lap time of 1 minute 26.6. And there are still drivers that are running a little bit faster. Rory Penttinen, he is down in 16th position, but he was the fastest guy out on the last lap. Valteris Viedris is running on the tail of Martin Palm, and he is already planning some attack moves, and there's plenty of space to do that. Martin Palm has to be very precise, hit all the apexes and not leave some space for Valteris Viedris to try and attack the leader. But he does not do that. He runs a little bit wide, leaves the inside line open, where Valteris Viedris and Albin Karlsson were both trying to sneak in. Anders Antel is up into 3rd position, using the situation to his own goods. He's in a harsh fight with 5 drivers. We have Filip Miemois running in 5th position, and Julian Sheen is up to 6th. He is watching and enjoying the battle right in front of him, and he wants to join it as soon as possible. He's seeing Anders Antel doing a little bit better than he is, and Anders Antel is the main rival in the fight of the lead of the championship. Julian Sheen running in the inside line. There's enough room for 2 cars to fit in. He manages to pass Filip Miemois. Rory Penttinen was the fastest guy on track again last lap around, so he is gaining on the pack, although he's 4 seconds down to the 15th place. He's running in 16th. Tavarkiladze was the fastest guy when he crossed the line, and Tavarkiladze is running in 20th place, so he lost out somewhere some precious time to this really fast drivers. Julian Sheen in a battle with Valteris Viedris, and it looks like he is able to make the move stick. So he is already right on the tail of Antel. Antel is up into 2nd position, although not yet. Some little contacts with Karlsson, and they are fighting for position number 2. Julian Sheen has not made the place good yet, because Valteris Viedris is able to re-attack what's going on track. It's looking very, very fantastic. Oh, and we have a spinner, and this is Albin Karlsson. There was a small contact. We have a car spun around and losing lots of position. Julian Sheen up into 3rd place, right behind Anders Antel. Marko Iljaho 4th, and Filip Miemois running in 5th place. So this leaves us in a chase for the lead a little bit. That should cost him some time, making some mistakes. And Anders Antel, what a gentleman, he gives the position back to Julian Sheen after he hit him in one of the corners. So that's a nice sportsmanship going on the virtual racetrack. That's not what you can see every day. Nice gentleman Anders Antel giving back the position to Julian Sheen, and all that Julian Sheen has to do now is finish the race. Only a couple of corners, well, half of the track is still left to go, about 1.5 kilometers, yes. some bad pronunciation, sorry for that. We have still battles going on behind the leaders. Marko Iljaho and Valteris Viedris are fighting hard for position number 4. What is happening at the front? Julian Sheen protecting the inside line. Anders Antel running outside, both of them sliding. Anders Antel had a better exit, but the inside line belongs to Julian Sheen. They both are still running side by side. Are we going to have a drag finish to the finish line? Side by side, the next corner they go, and we have one more corner to go with the inside line belonging to Anders Antel, who is going to get out in front. Anders Antel has the lead, but Julian Sheen has better exit, so that's a drag race to the finish line. 0.0 separates these two drivers, and Anders Antel manages to take the